You are going to be amazed. So get ready for a fantastic program. We're here with Jeff Ashby, who's visiting us from all over the USA pretty much, and with Marvin Higbee, who's here from Salt Lake City, Utah. And these guys are super busy. They're traveling around the country. They're building amazing businesses, and they happen to be in Las Vegas today, and they happen to have an hour to share with us. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, manifesting your dreams is about you reliving some of the dreams you had maybe when you were a little younger, maybe some of those dreams you put in the back burner, some things you wanted to create in your life. We want to inspire you to dream in color again. We want you to have tips, strategies that we can share so you can make it happen. And we do that based on this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And basically there are 17 principles that all people that are successful actually apply. Sometimes they know they do them, sometimes they don't. And one of those principles, the one we're going to be covering today, is autosuggestion. How you can use autosuggestion or self-suggestion to make things happen. So it is really, there's no coincidence in the world, right? Because if there's somebody that really impressed me as far as having the ability to manifest their dreams, Jeff and Helen Ashby, and how they use autosuggestion. So you don't want to miss any of the 4 segments we have here today because you are going to be empowered. So Jeff, welcome to the show, and Marvin, I'm really grateful that you're spending some time with us. This is like, if anybody told me a week ago this was going to happen, I would say no way. So I'm glad that it is. So Jeff, why don't you take a few minutes and just share with your audience a little bit about yourself, you know, where you're from, where did you grow up, and things like that, so they get to know you a little better.
Sure will. Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate you putting this all together. And it was just less than 24 hours ago. I said they were going to be in Vegas, and I'm here with you. Had a chance to watch some of the other programming that you put together. Your guests that have been on talking about Think and Grow Rich, and it's just absolutely amazing. I'd like to share just a little bit of my background. I grew up, my father owned a company called Industrial Container and Supply in Salt Lake City. And so industrial containers, you can imagine all the vitamin bottles, the different pill bottles, all the way up to 55-gallon drums that they would provide for everybody. And well, a third of Utah's economy is all based on the network marketing.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's health supplements, mom-and-pop herb shops, network marketing companies. When I was 18 years old, I was delivering these empty bottles to these locations. And so I was there in the beginning of a lot of these companies. And now as we drive up and down the I-15 corridor, there's actually exits that are designated different companies as you go up the freeway. So absolutely amazing upbringing. But as I was driving, as I was delivering those bottles out there, my dad wanted me to do something more than that. In fact, it was instilled in me that where you'll be 5 years down the road will depend upon, at that point, it was the books you read, the tapes you listen to. You remember tapes?
Yep, tapes. I still have them. A lot of them.
And the people that you associate with. And so it was one of those situations where I took that to heart. And as I was in his delivery trucks, I would have the old headphones on. You remember it had the little steel thing and the foam cushions with a little orange on the side of them. I would wear those, and on the seat next to me was a cassette recorder. You know, it had a little pop-up top. You'd slide the cassette in, push it down, hit play, and away you go. Well, I just thought I could miss nothing. I mean, I was on my way. And 5 years later, I was no longer working for my dad's company.
Wow.
I'd accepted a position. He encouraged me to get employment outside of the family business. I found myself in a garbage truck. And I was out picking up other people's refuse. And I needed just to back up just a little bit. And probably my worst day in that garbage truck was over the 4th of July holiday. We're just coming up on the 4th of July. And I can remember having to get in that truck when everybody else was at my house having pizza and enjoying the holiday. I got a call, and I had to go get in my truck and go out to a grocery store, Smith's grocery store, where our recycling container was overflowing.
Oh my God!
That week they had so many.
Oh man!
I mean, It was the glass bin that had overflowed. And
Wow.
so I was out there picking up people's empty beer bottles, wine bottles, and putting them in there. And I can remember that as I would pick them up, I'd have to stand up on the step and put them in the hole where they were supposed to go. They would be dripping out, and I had my gloves soaked, I was soaked, and it's like here I was picking up somebody else's refuse, and the most difficult time I had was climbing back in that truck, putting those headphones back on and pushing play, because I thought, it's been 5 years, and nothing has changed for me. In fact, I'm worse off than I was. But I'll tell you what, just quickly from that point, because of what I was putting into my mind on a daily basis, it was just 2 years from there, I was an area vice president for the world's largest garbage company. I had 37 salespeople that reported to me in 7 states and parts of Canada.
Wow.
And that, 2 years later, I had a bonus, a year-end bonus, that I paid more taxes on my year-end bonus than I made an entire year.
Wow.
So, yeah, it might be a little longer than 5 years, but it really depends upon what you put into your mind. So we'll get into that a little bit more as we get a chance.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because so many times our society has this pervasive idea, right, that some people are more talented than others, or some people are really lucky, or that success actually happens so quickly, right? Oh, this person had an idea and they became successful, right? And when you get to know people that really have been successful and they really tell you the truth, then you find out some of the things that you said. How many people might have quit in 4 years, 2 years, 1 year? It's like we live in a society that has a microwave mentality where they want instant success, but for 5 years you were putting it like just watering that little seed, right? Putting all that good stuff into your mind, but also at one moment you made a decision, right? You said, okay, this is going in one direction, I need to crank it up a little bit, right? And that decision 2 years later took you to where, to where you ended up. So that's fantastic. So just know that when you pursue your dreams, you will have to pay the price, right? It's not just kind of like The Secret, kind of like sold the idea into like, oh, I just have to sit down and visualize what I want, right? And believe it for 5 minutes every day, and then it's going to show up, right? Like the pizza delivery guy, right? It doesn't work like that. Every single thought we have is created, every single one, right? So not just the ones that we have a couple of times during the day.
No, but we're going to talk about a way of how do you monitor your thoughts.
So that's what we like to know. How do you do that? So share that with us.
So I don't know how we are time-wise.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we can get into that here a little bit. I mean,
okay, so we're gonna save that for the next segment. So then, Marvin, we'd like to know a little bit about your background, because I know you have a fascinating story as well.
Pablo, I'm really excited to be here today. I didn't know what the nature of this discussion was going to be about. It was kind of a surprise to me that I was even going to be here with Jeff.
Isn't that amazing? Life is like that, right?
See, it must have been something you manifested.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But what really is exciting for me is my mentor in the industry that I participate in is a guy by the name of Cheryl Hill. And he was the first instructor for the Napoleon Hill Academy.
No
now,
way!
They're not related.
Okay.
But he was the first instructor for that Napoleon Hill Academy. So I grew up learning at his feet. I actually knew him from the time I was a young man. And he was just a very dear friend. And he actually hired me at my very first job in the industry that I work in. He recently passed away, but he taught us, those of us who were fortunate enough to listen to him and experience it, how to really do things like manifest your destiny. I remember I was a government employee when I first graduated with a master's degree, and I went to work for the government thinking somehow I was going to change the world. And they paid me, I think I was making somewhere around maybe $14,000 to $17,000 a year as a government employee. I later, under the tutelage of my friend, when I went to work with him in a company, I later reached a point where I was making that much in a month.
Wow.
And I never thought that was even possible. I didn't understand the dynamics of how you can expand your belief system so that it'll take you from a point where it's almost beyond your belief of how you're struggling, you're wondering how you're going to pay your bills, you're wondering if you can go buy something extra in your life that you can't really afford, to being in a situation where you really can enjoy the abundance of what life really has to offer. And the difference really is really right here. In fact, he used to use a little thing that he would talk about is the distance between success and failure is this big. Exactly this big. And it goes right here.
Wow. That's a great
And so he used to teach us that all the time. Just remember the distance between success and failure is this big. And, you know, it really was an impressive thing to be here today talking about Napoleon Hill, where I'd had the opportunity to learn at the feet of one of the masters of the Napoleon Hill Academy. Thank you.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. And you say something that is so valuable because it doesn't matter where you are today, right? Is your life can change just with one decision, right? One decision.
You have
your
no
life can
idea.
change.
You actually have no idea how much you can actually change your life. And really, the opportunities are all around you. You just need to open your eyes and open your mind.
Pay attention, right? In other words, we have to pay attention because it's like we attract what we're thinking about. We notice what we're thinking about, right? So if you're thinking about negative things, or you're complaining about the economy or the politics or the politicians right now, whatever, then guess what you're going to attract? More of that stuff, right? And attract those kind of conversations.
So as a young man, I never thought that I'd travel the world. I remember my first airplane trip was at the age of 19. Now, I have been to probably over 70 countries.
70 countries.
I have met people from all different kinds of backgrounds in life. I've held children in my arms from every nation, every language. I speak Spanish fluently. I have had a very rich life, all because one person taught me how to expand my vision past myself.
That is amazing. And we have way more things to share with you because your life is really incredible. Both of your lives is really incredible. But what I want you to remember is that right now, you can make a decision that you want things to change, right? You want things to change. And there's always people willing to help you, to guide you, right? To mentor you, right? So if you're just visiting us, you're here in manifestingyourdreams.net. We're going to be back just in a couple of minutes with more stories from Marvin and Jeff, so we can help you, inspire you, we can help you manifest your dreams. So we'll be right back.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York, so his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provides.
Coffee, better known as Wawa. Being in the industry for 27 years, it's so easy to talk and talk and talk. But having a family, just like social media shows, is a plus, more than a plus. You see, I have my voluptuous life, talking about my extraordinary life and the lives of those around me. And being crazy as Cece and Gizzy is something else. So why don't you be part of our family? Join social media shows. See you soon.
So welcome back. We're having a lot of fun here at manifestingyourdreams.net. We're here with Jeff Ashby and Marvin Higbee, who are visiting from Utah. And when I had to do this program this week about autosuggestion, right, I said, wow, this is one of my favorite chapters in the whole book. It's actually one of the shortest chapters in the whole book, but one of the most powerful, right? And I couldn't help but remember when I met Jeff and Helen, I received a call from a friend to go to Salt Lake City, actually. And I couldn't make the trip. And I said, I have to be there. I really have to be there. How can I make it happen? And to make a long story short, somehow somebody introduced me to Jeff and Helen. And they said, you know what? If you're able to get to St. George, you can drive with us all the way there, right? And at that moment, my car wasn't working. It was a very complicated situation in my life. And that's one of the times that we actually step up, right? And we do things because we want to change our situation in our most desperate times, right? So I was able to get to St. George. And when I visited Jeff's home at the time, it was like a palace. It was totally incredible. I remember walking into that house and seeing the staircases going up, round up, and I said, oh my God, this place is incredible. And we started talking and we immediately connected, and he showed me, you know about a dream board, right? And we talk about that in a second, but he showed me one full wall of his home with the visualization through panels about the ideal day. I was blown away. I don't know anybody else in the whole world that have done something like that. So if there's one person I'd like to learn more about using autosuggestion to manifest the dreams is Jeff. So I know you have a lot to share with us. Go ahead. I'm excited that you're here today.
Well, thank you, Pablo. I appreciate once again this serendipity of this all coming together. It's just amazing. And then to have Marvin along with me today. I mean, we're
very grateful. You should be very grateful. Yes, but we are.
We're going to hear some more from Marvin, and it's absolutely amazing how our lives have come together. I got to back up just a little bit, though.
Absolutely.
That big house that you came to, 7,400 square feet, 3.5 acres, you know, like you said, the big Gone with the Wind staircase.
Yeah.
Well, that all came about as part of Helen and I's, coming together. I mean, she had been homeless. I mean, literally 6 years she had been divorced, been single, wasn't ever going to get married again. And was living out of her car, staying with her kids and with her mom and with people in California and all over. She was literally homeless. And I came in as part of a workshop. A good friend of mine, actually, it was a cold call in network marketing, somebody's chicken list.
Okay.
I called somebody's chicken, and says, hi, you don't know me. My name is Jeff Ashby, but we have a mutual friend. And that phone conversation, pitching him on network marketing, ultimately got me a couple weeks later into where I was doing a workshop on vision boards. And guess who was there in my class?
Helen, now you're a beautiful white Helen. Oh my God.
So just what you put into your head makes such a difference. And it's, who comes into your life. And I can't imagine, the 8 years that Helen and I spent together, us not.
Amazing couple. I mean, this is like an amazing power couple. Absolutely.
So I mentioned in the previous segment my background with recycling. So I had access to every magazine that you can imagine.
Oh, okay.
So I would come into a workshop and I would provide cases of different types of magazines. I'd go sort through the pile, and I'd pick out all the best magazines, and then we'd come in and we'd teach a big class. Well, I got to a point where I realized that it was more than just pictures that you would connect with. Like in Hollywood, they always put together what's called,
A reel?
It's a reel, but exactly, it's a storyboard.
Storyboard.
And so, just like in a James Bond, where does he wake up? What does he do? And you don't necessarily have to take the 13-hour flight that he does. You just come to the next place and the next place and the next place. And so it got to a point where I realized that if we're putting together, our best day, if we're storyboarding out where we're waking up, what we're doing for breakfast, these types of things, and we put them in a storyboard. And so when you came into my home, you saw those perfect days.
It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible.
And we got to a point where you actually put music to it. You do several things so that you can involve as many senses as possible. Right. It's not just the sense of vision, and these are some of the things I want to get into as part of this segment. In Autosuggestion, in the chapter there, it talks about these things that we're putting into our minds. And our bodies are nothing other than translations of vibrations. You look at every interface that we have around us. We've got our sight. We've got our ears that translates the vibrations of sound, light. We've got smell. Okay.
Another vibration.
Yeah, another vibration. We have touch. Okay. And what's that other? What's that fifth one? I'm going through the list and I'm trying to think of it. Taste. Yeah. Taste. And so all of these things are centered, with the exception of touch, we can feel different parts of our bodies. They're all centered around our head.
Our brain, right?
Our brain. Okay? So if we are giving all of these different opportunities of interfacing with vibration, because sound is vibration, taste is vibration, smell is vibration, touch is vibration, our eyes are translating vibrations of light, you'd think that we would have some type of a translation that would tell us what's going on up here in our head. Okay? In the original manuscript of Think and Grow Rich, Jerry Hicks got a copy of that original manuscript, and they took out of the original manuscript the word vibration.
Oh, wow.
It appeared 37 times in Think and Grow Rich, and the publisher says people are not going to relate to that.
Oh.
They're not going to relate to it. Well, we interface with our world through vibration. Okay? So let me have you think about this just for a minute.
Interesting.
Okay? We know hot and cold. We know whether something smells good or it doesn't. We know whether something sounds good or it doesn't, like country music versus rock and roll. Just say no if you can smell the music.
Yes.
So, anyway, I'm having some fun here with you, but the point that I wanted to make is this. Our translations of vibrations as to what our thoughts are how do we feel about those thoughts?
The feeling, right?
That feeling. And so I often play a game with myself, what if? Okay? And I get in that space and I say, what if? And if I say, what if this happens, how does that feel? Or what if that happens, and how do I feel?
So
you can say, well, what if this, or what if that, and you go with the better feeling.
Interesting, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So I look around us, and I see so many opportunities where people are trying to shut down their feelings.
Yes.
Whether they're jumping into a bottle, or they're doing it through pills, or they're doing it through other types of relationships. We really need to get back to how does it feel. That sixth sense is how does it feel. And that's what we're trying to create. I go back to those vision boards and that auto-suggestion. What is the best feeling? Does this feel better than that? Or does that feel better than this? And if you go with your feelings, you're going to be on track.
That makes a lot of sense.
And so imagine that. 37 times the word vibration was taken out of Think and Grow Rich.
Wow.
So do you think vibration is important? And how do we tell what we're thinking about? Well, how does it feel?
Absolutely.
So Feels pretty good to be here with
Absolutely,
you.
it is very powerful. Exactly. And then if anything is going on in your life where it doesn't make you feel good, you need to find ways to minimize or totally eliminate that from your life, right? It's like so many times people are in a toxic relationship.
But you don't want to push away from it.
No?
Because whatever you're feeling, you're attracting it. If you're feeling like crap, you're going to get more crap into your life.
So change the way you feel.
Well, and the easiest way to do that, it's called pivoting, and you pivot as you say, what if? And what if then? What if this, or what if that, or what about a better outcome?
Oh, wow.
And you start telling a better story. Those are what those vision boards are. You're telling a better story, and how does that feel? Okay? And I'll tell you what, if you take an action from a good feelings place, it's much better than taking an action from I feel like crap and I better do something about it. You're gonna
attract the same thing, right? Wow.
So I really think it's important that we focus on vibrations as we're looking at that auto-suggestion. How does it feel?
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
And you need to have the action, but you don't want to take that action from a place of lack, a place of of worry.
So what would you say? Let's say somebody wants to take some action, but they feel afraid, right? So how do they change that? What should they do so that they feel good about it?
Have them tell a better story. So what is it that I'm going to go to work? I mean, if you're a pizza delivery guy, imagine the kind of tips that I'm going to have today. What if I get a call out to the that guy's place, or what if I get this? And it elevates your thoughts. See, because we don't have an indication other than what we're thinking about as to how we feel. Okay, so what are you thinking? Because think and grow rich.
Exactly.
Think and grow rich.
Yes.
But really, are you on the right path?
Exactly.
Are you really thinking and going towards something you want? Or are you thinking and trying to resist something that you don't want? Either way, because this is an attraction-based universe, you're going to attract both of those.
Absolutely.
So be thinking about that.
Absolutely. It is very powerful, and you sharing that just reminded me, there was a time I was going to go to a networking event, and I was feeling like, I don't feel like going, and I have to dress up, and I want to meet people I don't like, or whatever. So I had certain negative emotions that was stopping me from taking action, right? And nothing is going to happen if we don't take action. And then I said, you know what if I meet one person? I changed the story without even knowing. I said, what if I meet just one person that it made it worthwhile to go there? So I got dressed up, I went over there, and I had a great time. We're out of time for this particular segment. We'll be right back, just in a minute or so. So you're here to manifesting your dreams. And we want you to start thinking how you could tell a better story, how you can create that ideal day, how you can start feeling the way that is going to make you move forward so you can manifest your dreams. We'll be right back.
We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now. Social Media Shows is teaming up with RevolutionRadio2.com to present Social Media Shows Sunday, featuring the very best of social media shows starting at 6 a.m. We begin our block with Saved by Grace, The Good News, In the Office, Musician Loves Honey, and ending with Dark Music Television. This is on every Sunday starting at 6 a.m. on RevolutionRadio2.com. And if you want to keep up with all the shows, please keep tuning in to socialmediashows.com.
Hola, ¿qué tal mi gente? Mi nombre es Lupita Ramírez, estoy aquí en la ciudad de Las Vegas, Nevada, y bueno, pues yo los invito para que vean el programa Creando Nuestro Destino con Pablo Miguel Di Velo. Les va a encantar, van a tener mucho que aprender, así que no se lo pierdan.
And welcome back. We're here in Las Vegas. You're here in manifestingyourdreams.net. We're having an amazing conversation. A lot of things I didn't know. We're learning. I wish I could be taking notes. So if you're not taking notes, grab a pen, grab some paper, or maybe get your notes on your phone and start typing, because some of the things you're going to hear today are going to change the way you think about your goals. They're going to change the way about how you approach them. So we're here with Jeff and Marvin. And I didn't know this about Marvin. I met Marvin maybe 20 years ago, something like that. It was really an incredible situation. He actually didn't know he spoke perfect Spanish. He's traveled all over the world. And it was really nice to see the work he has done in the Latin communities worldwide. And now his life goes around, right? We're here again. He just arrived maybe less than 2 hours ago.
Some attractive forces.
Some attractive forces were in place, right? He just arrived into Las Vegas. And here's in our studio just talking and sharing some of the things he's done. So why don't you share some of the things that you actually, as a young man, learn about manifesting and how our viewers can benefit from that?
I think one of the things that was really interesting, I think always I grew up as one of these people who was very purpose-driven. I wanted to do something good in my life. I soon found out being in government wasn't necessarily the way that you do that.
Right.
So I ended up being what is called a performance auditor, where I would go in and look at the efficiency and effectiveness of different government operations. I was really popular, you can imagine, when you're finding problems.
Oh, I can imagine that. They love you, right? They love you.
And you're pointing them out to people. Yeah, I remember walking down the state capitol hallways with the other group of auditors, because we always stayed together because nobody else wanted
to talk to you, right?
So we would walk down the halls of the Capitol building and doors would start literally slamming. We kind of laughed, but it was sort of also like, nobody likes us. So I ended up getting pretty good at what I was doing. And I was hired by county government to come in and look at something, and they had never had any oversight. Anybody from the outside, it was one political party. They had nobody from the outside who had ever done any kind of review. And I found out that the two of the county commissioners and the county attorney were funneling money from a mental health program into their own pockets. And they had stolen about $5 million. And they cut the funding to my program. I actually reported to them. They cut the funding to my program. They didn't
like that you followed that, right?
It. And then I continued to report the information to the press. And one day, as I was driving home, a bullet came through the window of my little pickup truck. And as the bullet shattered the glass, I began to pat my chest because I'd never been shot and I didn't know what it felt like. And I had no idea, but I had a sudden paradigm shift.
I can imagine that.
This was not the way to do something that was really going to bless the world.
Oh my God.
So this friend of mine, who was my mentor that I mentioned, was Cheryl Hill, he happened to call me up and ask me if I would be interested in coming and working with him. And it was the first time, honestly, that I'd ever heard the term network marketing before, really. And you can imagine, I came from a world where everything was very black and white in the auditing world. Everything was either correct or incorrect, either right or wrong. Right. And to me, network marketing was like, is that one of those pyramid scheme things? And I had no idea what it was. But what I learned from that process is that where I thought I was getting involved in something where I was going to bless the lives of the world, I actually wasn't blessing the lives of the world.
You were attracting bullets.
I was attracting bullets.
That's not the right attraction,
was
right?
Not what I wanted to do. But I had the opportunity through this experience to change my life. And I had a profound experience that did it, where I really found what my purpose is in life. And I was in Tijuana, Mexico. And I ran a series of warehouses for this particular company. And a woman came into the warehouse. And she was a beautiful lady, but she was very poor. You could tell from the way that she was dressed, her hair braided, wore very handmade clothes and handmade shoes that were kind of makeshift. Came to find out that she lived in a little hut that was maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet, if even that would be big. And it was made out of tin with a cardboard roof.
Oh boy.
And she lived in that with her children, her 5 children, and her husband. And this woman showed up in my warehouse and she said, could you consign me some product in Spanish? And actually, kind of poor Spanish, to be very honest. She had never stepped foot inside of a schoolhouse her entire life. Literally one of these people that kind of come out of the dust of life and learn how to pick themselves up and dust themselves off and do something. And this is what this woman did. She came in and she taught me an incredible lesson. She came in and she was so determined that she was going to make her life better and that this was the right way to do it.
Wow.
Then she came in and she said, yeah, but could you consign me some product? Once again, I explained, we don't do that. That's not how our business model works. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I have 2 boxes of product in the back of my warehouse that are going to expire. And I can either just throw them away or I'll give them to her. So I gave them to her. She took those 2 boxes of product and her husband built her a little wooden hand cart type of thing that she went from door to door, knocking on the door because the product was kind of a heavy liquid. It was a juice. It was the aloe vera juice. And she would go door to door knocking and selling this product. I just happened to be back in this warehouse 2 weeks later. Now that's not always the case. I wasn't always in the same places. I was traveling around and doing a lot of things. But she happened to be there and she brought all of the money in.
Wow.
And she purchased more product. And she signed up because one of our very smart distributors that was standing there thought, oh, this might be a good person, I'll sign her up. Signed her up. I watched this woman learn how to read and write, both English and Spanish. Never had set foot inside of a school in her entire life. She built a business. I watched her buy a car for her family. Actually, she earned it. She bought a house for her family. She continued to build her business in Mexico, then went across the border into San Diego area and continued to build her business on both sides of the border, going back and forth building her business. It was a remarkable thing to watch, and this doesn't always happen. But 5 years from the time when she first stepped foot in that warehouse to when this event occurred, she had won a contest for the company. And by winning this contest, I presented her with a check for $165,000
Wow.
on the stage of the Fiesta Americana Hotel in Tijuana, Mexico.
Wow.
And it changed my life. I remember I actually started crying because I thought to myself, I gave this woman 2 boxes of product that was really basically garbage that I was going to throw away. And this woman was so determined to pull herself up out of the dust of life that she did something with it. And she turned her entire life around. And in that year, she earned more than most medical doctors in the United States earned in an entire year. A woman who had never set foot inside of a school in her entire life, had never had anybody show that. And I learned something. I learned that we can really have the impact. If you have that desire, you can find the way that as you lift other people, you lift yourself. And that was the important lesson that she taught me. That you don't have to, it doesn't have to be that you do it through the typical ways that we always think that we have to do it, through getting education or getting the right kind of job or doing it through government or whatever it is. If we teach people how to live their dream, that they can have a dream, that they can make that dream a manifested reality, then they do it. And I've watched a person that you would never in your life imagine would be able to do what she did.
That is so powerful. I'm like speechless. Incredible. And that story is so inspiring because it shows you that it doesn't matter where you are today. It doesn't matter what your situation is. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter if, number one, you have that desire Because that's what she wanted. She had, and we talked about desire a couple of weeks ago, a
hot
strong
burning
desire
yes.
to make a change in her life for her
Yes.
and for her 5 children, right?
And she blessed my life
Absolutely.
with that strong burning desire that she had to make a change.
Absolutely. And she instilled in you a belief that anybody could really
Right.
do what they want.
She changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my life completely. So I've dedicated my entire life to this for the past 30 years.
That's amazing. That's totally amazing. And you know what? One of the things that happen nowadays, we talk to people and they say, "Oh, I want to do this," but they're waiting for things to be perfect, right? They're waiting for everything to have the right equipment, to have this and that, and then 3 years later they haven't started yet, right? So if there's one lesson in that story, is like you need to start wherever you are. Take a step forward.
You could not be more correct. You could not be more on point with what I see. Is that people want to use excuses for all of the reasons why something doesn't work. They don't look for why it does.
Or why you could.
Or why it should.
Or why you should, right? Amazing. Incredible. So just whatever you are, pick up one thing that you could do. Because she could have said, well, I'm not going to go there. They're going to tell me no, right? So it's just like she went for it and she had no idea
And all
what
she
you
had
were going to
all
say.
she had was a smile, literally. All she had was a smile on her face.
Exactly. That's fantastic. That's an incredible story. And just imagine 5 years later where you could be if you take an action today, right? And then at the same time you connect with the right people because she connected with the right people, right?
So it's taken me all over the world. It's given me a lifestyle. I've lived in many different countries. I've had an opportunity to meet people from all over the place, from both upper class and lower class, and I learned that people are all pretty much the same, really, if they're humble enough. Actually, I prefer the humble ones,
Right.
to the ones who have too much, because they're just beautiful. And so you learn to love humanity. You learn that you are part of humanity. We are together something that when we can combine our burning desires, become a force that cannot be contended with.
It's amazing. It's powerful. We're all resourceful. So think about it. There's one thing that we have is our resourcefulness, right? So there's whatever we want to move forward, there's somebody or something that can help us get there. So share one thing that you learned from Cheryl that maybe when you were young that really made a difference.
You know, he used to quote the poem from Alice in Wonderland called Jabberwocky. Have you ever heard that? You remember that?
I don't remember
particular
that,
poem?
but
Go and pull it up and read it.
okay.
I should have had it memorized, but probably thousands of times I've heard it. I should have memorized it. But the focus really is on realizing that who you are and that you are so much more than what you believe that you are.
Wow.
And if you can just simply open your mind to the possibilities of who you are, it's a powerful story.
That is powerful. And one thing I learned is like if you don't believe in yourself, find somebody who does. Find somebody that has a little bit higher belief in you than you do. So we're gonna be right back, and you're here to manifest in your dreams, and we're really having a lot of fun. And my mind is expanding already. All the things that we can do. Hopefully, the same thing is happening to you. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Maria of Let's Talk World. Let's Talk World is about you, your story, your product and services. If you have a business or you want to join us and be on this hot seat, please give us a call or message us on Facebook or email us info@socialmediashows.com or visit our website socialmediashows.com. Thank you, world.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Saved by Grace. On this show, I'm Lance Parvin, and on this show we talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and testimonies of how people have actually been shown grace and mercy. So we'll have a whole barrage of interesting guests sharing their stories, their testimonies, what's been going on in their life. And you can always catch us on social media shows. We shoot at different times during the week, so if you can't catch us live, you can always watch the recordings. So we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming weeks. We'll see you. As always, stay close to the Lord. God bless you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show.
And welcome back. You're here at manifestingyourdreams.net, and we're having an incredible, powerful interview today with Jeff and Marvin, and we're talking about using autosuggestion to change your life. We're talking about taking action, recognizing the way things make us feel, and we should, if you haven't seen the previous segments, you do want to go back, watch them, because there's a lot of inspirational stories that Marvin and Jeff have shared, and also tips, some of the things that they learn. So if you don't know what this is, you definitely need to watch the first segment of today. But we're very lucky to be listening to people that actually have done incredible things in their lives. One of the things that I like to do about this program is not just talk about theory. Like, there's thousands of videos that people tell you what to do, right? Oh, you have to do this. But what I like to do every week is interview somebody that is actually not just talking the talk, but actually have walked the walk. They pay the price, and now they're living their dreams. They're living life on their terms. They've been able to contribute to other people, and they're sharing with you, because they want to pay it forward, they're sharing with you some of the things they did to manifest their dreams. So Jeff, I know that people are impressed with what you have shared, so how could they get in contact with you? What projects are you working on? In other words, how somebody can maybe get a line if they like what they hear from you. You know, how can you make that happen?
Well, thank you for inviting us here this afternoon. This has just been an absolutely amazing opportunity for us. And you mentioned living life on your own terms. I don't know how many of you have been kind of watching lately on YouTube or other things where there is a real movement towards minimalists.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, when we started out segment one, you know, I had 7,400 square feet, 3.5 acres. We were digging our second pool because one wasn't enough, you know. We had
one pool was not enough, right? You need a second pool, right?
A second pool.
One for odd days, the other one for even days.
Some lazy river pool, so that you could jump in and you could float around. Anyway,
incredible.
It was when the money was flowing in like that. It was, you know. It was a matter of, I'm happy when I'm buying. I'm happy with more and just more and more and more and more. And I need to share with you kind of living life on our terms now. Helen and I have found an opportunity where we don't need to work in a single spot. We don't have to go into an office any longer. And that has allowed us to be out on the road. We are now 3 years full-time in a Mercedes Sprinter. In fact,
beautiful. It's like really, it's like more comfortable than most people's homes or apartments. Definitely.
You can go back to the Wall Street Journal just here a couple of months ago, and it says baby boomers are embracing the van life, luxury van. You know, it's just 3 months ago. We've been doing it for 3 years. Almost 196,000 miles on our vehicle as we travel around the country.
Wow.
We've only missed Alaska and Hawaii
so far.
But just really enjoying it, and it's because of the network marketing industry. An industry, as I mentioned, I grew up in. I was delivering the empty bottles out to all of these companies that now make up over a third of Utah's economy just through network marketing.
1/3. Wow.
And so it's truly amazing to see that, I wasn't looking for another supplement. That's the last thing I was looking for, but something came into our lives that really made a difference. We, for the first time, could reference, 14 clinical trials, 7 double-blind placebo-controlled human studies.
Wow.
I'm not having to make up stories. These are actual studies that were done and funded by our very own Department of Defense through the U.S. government's involvement. So, absolutely amazing opportunity that resulted in 7 U.S. patents. Patents that I mean,
that's tough. How many people can say that? That just being one patent alone, right? That's definitely impressive.
And so
that's a lot of credibility right there, right?
Finally put my reputation behind something that was this powerful. And it's truly made a difference. Our grandson, 12 years old, had been kicked out of 4 different schools for behavior issues. And here we are, grandparents, it's our grandson. He got the nickname the Sierra Madre Strangler in California because he would literally choke kids out on the playground. Just horrible issues. He was the bully. But we got this supplement to him, and within 3 days he came bouncing in, and according to his mom, says, Mom, whose birthday is it today? I'm excited about something is happening today that's exciting. And it wasn't anything other than a deficiency. So in 3 days, a deficiency was corrected. Within 2 weeks, his mother had taken him off of all of the medications, and within 3 months, he came home with not only his first baby, but he had 3 A's and a friend. And it was that friend who came over during Christmas break that just caused our daughter to break down and say, Isaiah finally has a friend. And so we got passionate about this. I didn't have time to go in and explain about what this did for my father. Absolutely astounding. And then we connected with an individual, Marvin. His background in network marketing is just amazing. And he's pulled all of his resources and his understanding of compensation out and created what we now, this is the first time we've ever seen it in the industry. It's called the All of It. In fact, we're going to be known as the All of It Company.
All of it.
All of it. ALLOFIT.
Wow.
So, and it's a fantastic way of taking a passion that Helen and I have and sharing with others. And as we share with others, we're
in short, what that stands for is it's just a way that we compensate you. So as you build customers, so we're a company that really believes in not just trying to go out and recruit your friend and trading money amongst friends. We actually want you to build a customer base of people who are actually consuming our product. So when you bring us a customer, on their very first order, we pay you all of it.
All of it?
All of it.
Wow, man. Who doesn't like that? Anybody has any objections to getting all of it?
So just as some industry statistics that are very fascinating. In most companies, 1% of the people really earn more than they spend and make most of it. 1%. 1%. Wow. In our company, we already, just after our first 3 months, we have 36% who earn more than what they spent, and we have 68% who at least made a check. In most companies, and one very large one based out of Utah particularly, 85% of the people never make a check. So you can see we're doing some things that are very different. The approach that we're taking, because once again, I wanted to bless people's lives. That was part of my mission.
From day one, right?
I loved something that my friend Cheryl Hill once taught me, and I'll do it for you because it's kind of fun. But this is he uses a little childhood rhyme to teach a really, really critical principle, and he does it this way. He goes, "What you do is you try and touch your nose and an ear while you're repeating the poem, Mary Had a Little Lamb." It goes like this. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece as white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. So if you guys were to try that, you'll probably poke your eye out.
Oh yeah, I won't do that on this live TV.
This is what the important principle is that he taught. That there are many distractions. all around us. Some of them are ones that we create ourselves. That if we can remain focused, and so if you can remember, I had one hand that was going toward my nose. Mary had a little lamb, and I was doing it very carefully with a focus, and the focus was on my nose. Automatically, my brain was programmed that the other hand was going to go to my ear. And he would teach, if you can remain focused on your burning desire, on what it is that you truly want out of your life, in spite of all the distractions that you create or that are created around you, you can remain focused on that. You can achieve your goals. It's a beautiful concept. He also used to use a story that I love from The Wizard of Oz to teach a very beautiful principle. So you guys will remember that the witch has water thrown on her. And what does the witch say when she gets water thrown on her?
I'm melting.
I'm
melting.
And then what does she say? Nobody ever remembers, but it's perhaps the most important line in the entire Wizard of Oz. She says, "Oh, what a world, what a world. How could one little girl destroy all my lovely wickedness?" The power of an individual to change lives, to have an impact on this world, is so much more than you even realize.
That's amazing. That's so powerful. And you know, it's like Cheryl was definitely ahead of the time, because I call this time the time of distraction. If you think about people that are so distracted, right? It's like on their phones. They take their phones to bed. It's like one thing that I learned is like, I don't take my phone to bed because then they're checking on Facebook 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So this is the time of distraction. So people that are successful, just like you shared, just like Cheryl shared many, many years ago, are really focused on what they want to manifest, right? And that's what makes a huge, huge difference. But I love the, I'm going to need to practice that alone a few times later on. You want to do that.
I do this in my free time.
That's so powerful. So how can people contact you? So Facebook, Instagram, we can put your phone number in our.
Put your phone number up.
All right. It's just it's as easy as Jeff Ashby, JEFFASHBY at me.com.
Okay.
That's how easy it is.
You really like. I was talking to somebody yesterday whose name was like so long, and there were like 100 ways to say wrong, right? So you got the good one. But I'm so grateful that you're here today. I really, I know you're going to do incredible things, help a lot of people like you've been doing for so long, and you're going to continue to be blessed. So thank you for watching today. I'd like you to put a comment, share this with a friend, tag a friend so they can also see it. And we like to hear back from you after you apply some of those things. We like to hear back how your life has changed because you made a decision, you started using autosuggestion, you stay focused on where you wanted to go, and we are very, very grateful that you'll be manifesting your dreams. We'll see you next week.